Hey guys, this Sunday, it's a meetup game, Hustler Casino, noon to 6 p.m., 2-3 No Limit Holdem, a $1 to $500 buy-in cap. Go sign up on Poker Atlas right now, and we'll see you on Sunday.
Last time on the Poker Vlog.
It's going to be the West Coast Poker Vloggers, myself, Eric Fish Poker.
And put in the rest of my 129, although doubtful I'll get paid off. And these games play pretty passively overall, and it's rare to have a player 3-bet.
All right, guys, down here at Hollywood Park Casino, going to jump into the Friday daily tournament. It's a $150 buy-in. If they get about 100 people, it's about $4,000 up top, and they'll usually pay 14 or 15 places. So let's see, I've cashed in this tournament 2 of the 4 times I've played it. So let's see if we can make it 3 out of 5 today. All right, don't forget, like the video, subscribe down below, ring the little notification bell if you haven't already. Really helps the channel out a ton. I appreciate it. Let's go.
We pull into the Hollywood Park Casino around 9:45 a.m. on a Friday morning and get off to a slow start in level 1 of this $150 Friday tournament. We start with 30,000 in chips and defend King 8 suited from the hijack, but can't improve on the flop and have to let it go to a C-bet. Then in level 1 from the big blind, we defend a raise from a player that will later put us in a very tough spot. Here we're defending with 10-9 suited. We check the flop after completely whiffing it and have to fold to another C-bet. We do get a little relief still in level 1. We're on the button and we 3-bet after looking down at pocket jacks. We C-bet the flop on a queen deuce 5 rainbow board and get called. The turn is another jack, giving us a set, and we bet once more hoping our opponent holds top pair, but he quickly folds, getting us back a little bit in level 1. We then see a suited ace 10 and raise it 3x preflop. We flop 2 clubs and continue betting, getting called. The turn brings in an ace, which gives us the green light to keep betting, finding another call. The river completes our flush, and unfortunately, we can't get paid on all 3 streets and still cannot get back quite to even moving into level 2. Blinds are at 100-200 with a $200 big blind ante, and we open to 600 with a premium ace-king suited of spades. We have a little over 21k in our stack to start the hand. The cutoff makes the call, and then both blinds defend. My raise was 3 big blinds. Some will say to raise bigger and narrow the field, but I actually want value from a hand like this, and I'm okay with the players defending with their marginal hands. 4 ways to a flop, the big blind checks dark, even though the small blind still gets to act first, and we flop 7 king queen rainbow. When the action gets to me, I c-bet for 2,000, almost pot size. With top pair and top kicker on a relatively dry board with 2 face cards, this board should connect well with my opponent's calling range, and I should be ahead a majority of the time. So I want to get value from those players while I can. Unlikely to get value on all 3 streets. But they all fold. On to another notable hand from level 2, likely the hand that changed everything in this session. The player in +1, who's been playing fairly aggressively, limps into this pot, whereas he would normally be coming in with a raise. We're in position on the button and everyone folds to us. I go a little larger with my raise to 1,500 or 7.5 big blinds, given the limper and wanting to isolate or steal the money that's already out there. The blinds get out of the way and the +1 player does make the call, so we'll go heads up with almost 4,000 in the pot. Off to a flop. Flop comes queen 6-5, 2 clubs. While it's not the most ideal flop to ask for, I can't slow down with just 1 over on the board and a flush draw out there after +1 checks. I go a little less than half pot with a sizing of 1,500. I figure if he totally missed, this bet should get the job done. But he calls, so we'll have to navigate appropriately with 6,700 now in the pot. Looking for improvement on the turn comes out and pairs the board with a queen of spades. And now +1 decides he wants to take the betting lead. This bet doesn't make any sense to me. As I've been the aggressor in the hand, both pre-flop and continuing on the flop, if he had a queen, he would surely check raise in this spot. So I make the call pretty confident that I'm still ahead. With the pot now growing to almost 13k, we get to go see a river. The jack of hearts, and +1 quickly bets out for 9,300. Flush draws missed and straight draws missed, but I still only have 2 pair on a paired board. The queen didn't bother me, But if he floated the flop with a hand like King Jack having a backdoor straight, or something like Ace Jack, King Jack, or Jack 10, I'm in pretty miserable shape now. But a Jack shouldn't be betting this large, as I have all the queens in range. I don't have the 10 of clubs, which unblocks some flush draws, so that's good. After thinking through the action, he's trying to rep a queen and playing fast, and I make the hero call. He shows ace deuce offsuit, no clubs. Okay, just odd. We roll over our pocket tens to scoop this pot up, which puts us in a good spot. His bet surely put me in the tank for a little while, but it's times like this where you have to just slow down and think through the action, and sometimes you just gotta call. I'm glad we did, and we're going to be in good shape looking for the final table. Now into level 6. Not a whole lot happened since level 2. We go set mining with pocket 5s from the small blind, but can't improve on, have to just fold on the flop to a large bet. Now into level 7, and feeling pretty good at this point with a healthy stack, we see a limp from the hijack, cutoff, small blind, and I look down at ace rag offsuit from the big blind and check my option. If this was suited, I'd be putting in a raise, but let's just navigate a limp pot and hope not to go broke, 4 ways with 6,000 in the middle. We flop top pair on Jack Ace 2 with 2 hearts. We check and look back at our cards. The cutoff bet's 4,500. She's a newer player to the table and she's been playing a lot of hands. With top pair in a limp pot, I'm likely ahead or going to chop against another weak ace, so I make the call. With 15k in the pot, a little over 10 big blinds, the turn comes another ace and brings in a second flush draw. I'm pretty certain I'm ahead, but decide to check and let her continue betting, but she decides to check back. The river's the queen of diamonds, so pretty much a brick, and I should still be ahead. I can only hope she limped with something like queen jack offsuit and now hit 2 pair. I want to try for some value, and I lead for 5,000. She doesn't think about it too long, but looks pretty disgusted and decides to make the call. I show my hand, and it's clear I have the winner. But rather than mucking her cards, she turns them face up, showing everyone Jack 4 of hearts for a flop Jack high flush, draw, and a pair. Interesting call on the river, but I'll take it. Now on to level 8. We have a healthy 80k in our starting stack and see a limp from under the gun, +1 and +2. And I'm already working on a plan to squeeze and calculating how much is in the pot. We look down at a pocket pair from the low jack and put a plan into motion. We raised to almost 2x the size of the pot. There's already about 8k in the middle with blinds, antes, and the limpers, so hoping to steal it, but willing to play in position with a healthy chip stack and a pocket pair. The former versus the latter of our hopes is the ultimate outcome as we get folds all the way around, helping us to chip up and looking forward to the final table. Last notable hand for level 8 with blinds at 800 and 1600 and a 1600 big blind ante. Action folds to the cutoff who open jams for about 10 big blinds, and we wait for our turn in the big blind. Action folds to us and we look down at ace king offsuit and of course make the call, putting his tournament life at risk. We're in about the best spot possible as he rolls over ace queen. Let's go to the run out. Really no sweat at all, and we hit a king on the river just for good measure. Although we were ahead the whole way. We scoop 40k and take an opportunity for a photo op.
All right, guys, quick little mid-session update. 109,000 in chips going into level 9, coming back from a break in a minute. Average stack is 60,000. I think the blinds are 1K, 2K, 2K when we come back from break. So maybe you can see my face a little better that way. Not that you want to see my face, but anyways, feeling pretty good. Hoping to run it up, and let's go get it.
Back at it from break and on to level 10 with blinds at 1,500, 3,000, 3,000. The cutoff raises to 7,000, and we're in the big blind with 101k in our starting stack. This is pretty healthy for this moment in the tournament at just over 30 big blinds. The levels are 30 minutes each, but the blind jumps each level are pretty significant, so we need to focus on gathering more chips. We look down at king jack offsuit, and this seems reasonable to defend against a 2x open from a late position player, so we make the call. Although I wonder if a 3-bet isn't the better option. Off to the flop. We flop top pair on 3, king, 9, 2 spades, and also have a backdoor second nut flush draw. We check, and the cutoff decides to c-bet for 5 grand. This is the gal that paid us off earlier when we had trip aces and she had third pair and a broken flush. So we decide to put in a check raise in this spot and make it 15,000. She flashes 2 black queens as her cards hit the muck. We'll scoop this one up, getting closer to the final table. Next hand, we're going to try and pull off a sick bluff. The action folds around to us in the small blind. And we look down at our cards. With 8 high, let's make the call in this blind versus blind situation. If he raises, we'll fold, and if he checks, we'll make a play post flop. Maybe not the best strategy, but let's see what we can do. We make the call, and the big blind checks his option. Level 11 with about 90k in our stack, we lost a hand in level 10. Blinds are at 2k, 4k, 4k. The flop comes 10 deuce 10 rainbow, and I put my plan into action, and I bet 5,000 into the 12,000 pot. I guess in a limped blind versus blind strategy, I'm only repping a 2. I'm a bit discouraged when he makes the call, and off to a turn we'll go with 22k in the pot. The turn comes off the jack of clubs, and I pretty quickly check. My thinking is if I had a 10, I'd likely do this after he calls, hoping to get him to try and steal when the over card comes out, but he quickly checks it back. So off to a free river, we spike a pair with a 5 of hearts, figuring we're ahead as a 10 would have bet behind us on the turn, and a deuce is in a bad shape anyways. Now we lead for half pot, and he quickly folds.
All right, guys, we're on another break. We're coming back to blinds that are 4,000, 8,000 with an 8,000 big blind ante, and we're sitting on 101,000 in chips. So we're probably about average stack, what it looks like looking around, but we definitely need some help to run it up. We're going into level 13. Haven't really seen much so far in the last couple levels, so definitely it's time to either chip up or get out. So let's keep going. Smash the thumbs up button. Give me some run good.
On to level 13, as mentioned in the break, we look down at Queen Jack suited from under the gun with blinds at 4k, 8k, 8k, and raised to 2.5 big blinds after doing some math in my head. It takes me a little bit to figure that out. The player in the +1 who we stole the last hand from, he decides that he's going to open jam and he has us covered. So it's an effective 101k shove. Holy shit. The other players quickly get out of the way, and they don't want any part of this action. We're down to about 25 players, with the top 11 getting paid after starting with 111 players. I say out loud, I'm not sure if this is worth it, but let's see if we can double up here, as I push my remaining stack in. Pretty happy to see his pocket 10s, which are both black, as we're only a slight dog in this 53-47% equity spot. Let's go to a run out for over 200k. So stoked to see a queen right there on the flop. And we hold to the river to scoop this, putting us in a great spot to make the final table. On to level 14 now. I haven't seen any playable hands since the last one I showed you and have blinded off a few chips. We're down to 15 players, and some players start asking about paying 3 bubbles, but one player says no, and we're going to go along playing. Turns out she's the bubble and could have been paid, but wasn't. +2 puts in a raise to 29k with blinds at 5,000 and 10,000 with a 10,000 big blind ante. So almost a 3x raise. We look down at pocket 3s from the hijack. We have 17 big blinds in our stack and need to chip up. I think I can flat this for a set mining opportunity. I think I could probably jam in this spot too, as 17 bigs isn't a very big stack, and this player in +2 is pretty aggressive and splashy. But it would suck to be up against a monster. Overall, he is a balanced player. We decide to flat, and we'll navigate this pot post-flop. Off to a flop with 103k in the middle, we get an ace-king flop, and I'm surprised when +2 doesn't c-bet. This is very odd for him, out of character, which immediately makes me think he's actually trapping. With just 3s in hand, we have to check back. We get to see a free turn, which is the 5 of clubs. +2 quickly checks to us once again. It's a rainbow board, so if he has an ace or a king, he doesn't really have to protect against much, and likely couldn't get value on multiple streets, and I think with my short stack, he'd want to get it all in. So really this check is a surrender, and I should be jamming on this turn. But I freaking chicken out and check back, missing an opportunity, I believe. Off to the grossest river card ever. We're completely counterfeited. He checks for a 3rd time, but now a bet looks fishy, and I think it's just suicide if I make a bet. So I check. He rolls over pocket 10s, and he'll scoop. Too bad he didn't have pocket 4s. Oh well. Next notable hand comes in level 14. We're in the hijack and open to 2.5 big blinds, which is pretty standard in tournament play. We have a black pocket sixes. The action folds to the big blind, who defends for another 1.5 blinds, and we'll be heads up to the flop with 65k in the middle. The flop is actually good for our hand, with ace, ace 4, and the big blind checks to me. Let's bet this one time for value and hope to get face cards to float one. Or not. And we check in real time, playing way too passively but trying to survive to get into the money. The turn is a 10, and this is a card I would slow down on even if I had bet on the flop. After he checks, I check back. The river's a brick, only completing a 2-3 straight, and when he checks to me, I'm happy to just show my pocket pair. I didn't note it at the time, but playing the video back slowly, he shows Queen 8 offsuit, and we scoop a little one. Okay, we're on the money bubble in level 15, and we look at ace jack suited from under the gun. We have 13 big blinds in our stack, and we raise to 30,000 or 2.5 big blinds. Is this an open jam spot with 13 bigs? I really need to study late tournament play a little bit more. The action gets over to +2, who has me covered, and he decides he's going to jam his stack. The action folds back around to me. I peel back my cards and just stare for a little bit, wondering what the heck I should be doing. We're 1 from the money and not very many blinds left in my stack. Is this a call? A fold? I didn't play all these hours, about 7 now to go home without booking a win. I fold. Alright, we're in the money now, and we lasted for one more player to bust out and have 10 players remaining, with blinds at 10k, 20k. The cutoff raises to 60k. A little fan of the vlog. We look at ace-king offsuit with 70,000 in our stack, and we have to jam. Of course the cutoff is calling for only 10k more, but it takes the big blind just a little bit to decide what he wants to do. Alright, heads up, we expose. We're up against Queen 10, a pretty dream spot to be in, but our tournament life is on the line. Let's go to the run out. We both spike a pair on the flop, so a little sweat with 2 more to come. But we hold, and we drill a 3rd king for good measure on the river.
Alright guys, final table update. We're making the final table, so we're down to 9 players, and we're extremely short stack, so we're gonna need to make it or break it. We're probably, we're in the push fold spot anyways. So here we go. Wish us luck.
We get no help from the deck moving forward, only playing our blinds. 7-5 suited is not a winner after flopping bottom pair on a queen high board and facing a bet. Then seeing deuce 8 in the big blind, extremely short stack. We can't jam this, and we have to fold on later streets after checking our option pre-flop. Down to 8 remaining with 30k to start. This is 1.5 big blinds. Under the gun limps. The action moves to the cutoff, who also decides to limp. And we look down at 5 deuce offsuit. With 2 limpers, we could fold to see another orbit, but this is a chance to triple up. And that would make Joker Poker, Jeff Stimson, our poker vlogger buddy from Vegas, really proud if we can scoop. After the button limps, it's now a potential quadruple, and we have to shove for 30k. Everyone calls, and we're 4 ways to a flop with 160 up for grabs. Let's see what happens. Flop is gross for us with queen, queen 10, and then there's some betting, so I think we're dead. The bet gets called by one player and off to a turn. We drill a pair, but the aggressor on the flop is now inclined to go all in, so pretty sure this 5 didn't help us at all. He exposes a queen, and we're drawing dead.
All right, guys, that's a wrap for this one. Stay tuned to see what's coming up on the next poker vlog. We'll do that in just a second. We finished in 8th place today. Not a bad run. Started with 100 people. 2 weeks ago, I played in this tournament. I didn't vlog it and took 3rd place, which was about $2 grand. This one, 380 bucks. So kind of a long day for a small 250 profit, 230 profit. But hey, I'll take it. I enjoy playing tournaments. It's a lot of fun. Hope you guys enjoyed this vlog. And until next time, guys, don't forget, wash your hands.
Next time on Happy Face Hold'em.
We wake up with pocket aces. Can they go uncracked? We get splashy with 7, 6 of clubs yet again. How big is our punt? And with pocket sixes, we're getting it all in. Hope to see you on the next one.